CPI on this, Mr. Narayana also with us on the broadcast. Mr. Narayana, you know, there's one school of thought which says that what this has done is it has completely polarized the community, so to say. And anyone who's raising a voice against this, including a Sahitya Academy awardee, has been slapped with a sedition charge. Rationalist thinkers are being, hounded literally by the state machinery. Now, if this is such a volatile issue, if this has ended up opening, fault lines, old fault lines pitting one community against the other, why do you think that BJP would make a mistake at this point in time with elections literally knocking at the door, the 3 months down the line, the big fight is all set to take center stage? Do you think that this is then a calculated ploy on the part of the BJP to ensure that its objective of consolidation of Hindu votes actually takes place? Because the rub-off, as it is being said, will also be in West Bengal.
Yes, this is a calculated efforts of the BJP, and they wanted to have a vote bank. To see the vote bank, they are doing all these things. This Assam bill also recently passed. This is not only polarization; it is challenge to the constitution. The preamble, what you said, the secularism is their preamble. Now they are damaging secularism. That means they are attacking the constitution. The Assam, the northeastern states, already we got accord. In 1971, they should be accepted. Now immediately, 2014 December 31st, before that, non-Muslims from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan, they should be entered. It is a deliberate attempt. It is a deliberate attempt to the BJP to have a voting bank. And how this...
No, but, okay, so you are saying this is a deliberate attempt on the part of the BJP. Okay, so you are saying that this is a deliberate attempt, so the Congress and the left are on the same page when it comes to that. I'll try and connect to Assam once again. Afrida is standing by. Requested producers to alert me as soon as that connection is through. But having said that, Ilyas Sharafuddin, how does this play out? Do you read between the lines of what's happening there? Is this essentially a fight between one community or the other? Because what we are being told is with the government now granting special status to some scheduled tribes as well in Assam, that has ended up creating a rift within the entire tribal population in Assam, where one suddenly is feeling more empowered at the cost of the other. Ilyas Sharafuddin, if Assam is burning, if Northeast is voicing its dissent, what is prompting the BJP to go ahead with this and, completely ensure in a way that its chances in the Northeast become bleaker going ahead? Why would the BJP do that, Ilyas Sharafuddin?
I would like to explain the whole scenario in 3 simple points. But before that, I would like to congratulate all the non-Muslim brothers and sisters of Northeast who are opposing this bill, seeing how dangerous it is for our nation. Now the first point is, BJP could not provide, Modi government could not provide jobs to the existing Indians, unable to provide security to the existing Indians. Now they are inviting others from other countries through this bill. What for? To make them jobless and more dangerous over here? For what, I don't know. Second point, already crores of Hindus are losing their jobs and they are agitated. However, BJP tried, Modi government tried to marginalize Muslims, attack Islam and Muslims. Hindu brothers and sisters are not going to trust them. BJP is going to bite the dust in 2019. However they try. And the third point, BJP leaders said
that is my question. That is my question. Ilyas Sharafuddin, you made a point that the BJP will end up biting dust. Now that is the exact question that I would like to take to Afrida, who joins us from Guwahati, from the epicenter of where the protests are happening at this point in time. Afrida, the fact is, a lot is being talked about. In the national capital, in the corridors of power, it is a divided opinion. While some say that, look, what's happening on the ground is entirely BJP's doing. They've completely done away with the Assam Accord, with the tenets of the Assam Accord, and what they're doing is essentially playing with fire. Afrida, just break it down for us. What is it that you're seeing in Assam? Why is there so much of apprehension at a time when the government maintains that, minorities from the neighboring countries of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh need to be given a safe passage to India? Why is it that the Northeast is opposed to that? Because the government says that they are victims of religious persecution. So if we do not stand by victims of religious persecution, you know, who will? Afrida.
Yeah, firstly I would like to tell one thing, that it is not an issue of the non-Muslim, right? Because I would like to defer to the panelists out here that is thanking to the non-Muslim. It is not an issue about a Muslim and non-Muslim. First, please, it's a request from the Northeast, don't polarize each and every issue with Hindu and non-Hindu. First. Second, it is the issue regarding the constitutional safeguard of the indigenous people of the Northeast. The very bill, the Citizenship Amendment Bill, if it got passed in the Rajya Sabha, already it has been passed in the Lok Sabha, it is completely against the constitutional safeguard of the people, because it is a threat to the socio-economic as well as the political, it's a political threat to the indigenous people of the Northeast. That's right. Because already we are overburdened. That's why the NRC process is going on. And the whole issue, the whole process of NRC will go in vain if this citizenship bill is passed. First. Second, I would like to tell you one thing, that when the BJP, the government is coming in, and when they were campaigning in the last election, Prime Minister Modi was very clear that he will ensure that Bangladeshi will go, you will solve the Bangladeshis with bag and packages. And the people of Northeast are very hopeful, and because of the process of NRC going on in Assam, the hope was there. But then, when this NRC, the third the draft has been declared, then this 40 lakh people has not found their names in the NRC. The 10 lakh people have already filed a
Yes, and I was coming to that point, Afrida. Now this entire debate over the citizenship bill comes at a time when Assam is already on the edge over NRC, and you brought out that figure of about 40 lakh names, which as we know is in public domain, which do not figure in that list. Now we are being told by our sources, Afrida, that of these 30 lakh essentially are names of people from one particular community. We know that 10 lakh people have already appealed against their names being left out of the NRC list. But the 30 lakh is what the BJP is essentially trying to capitalize on. Afrida.
Right, that is very much the BJP is trying to play a game now. We are trying to create a rift between the two valleys of Assam, that is Brahmaputra Valley and the Barak Valley. The Barak Valley is a huge, largely populated by the Bengalis. They are trying to create a thing that the Bengalis of the Barak Valley are putting a bill, which is not true, because the indigenous Bengali living out in the Barak Valley is also hesitating against this bill, because this very bill is against the constitutional safeguard of the indigenous people. We are not against the Bengali. We are not against any language-speaking people. We are very much against the immigrant, which is the last year. With the Assam is already overburdened with the loss of people. That's right. We are hopeful about the NRC. And now the BJP is trying to get...
Okay, so you see a calculated move, Afrida, going by what you are saying. And Saira, I would like to bring you in on this. Saira, you know, you talked about the ground situation. You've heard a first-hand account coming in from Guwahati on the broadcast. The fact is that, you know, 4 million names it did not include, their names went missing from the NRC list which came in. So that in a way ended up ruffling a lot of feathers, because people felt suddenly paranoid that what's happening? I've been living here for so long, suddenly my name is not there. Afrida pointed about a comment that was made by Prime Minister Modi before BJP came to power. Having said that, between them and now, Afrida, do you feel that this is a very calculated ploy to ensure that only the Hindu consolidation happens at the cost of everything else, and that could reap rewards for the BJP?
During the process of this amendment bill, the BJP has already done a very is trying to create a rift, because the whole of Assam...
But Afrida, just a moment. That question was for Saira. Afrida, just a moment. Let Saira respond. Saira, please come in.
The report, the list is actually excluding a lot of indigenous communities. A dominant Hindu group, Ahom group is also being excluded. So there are a lot of people in the dominant Hindu groups who are being excluded from the list. So it's not only just a Muslim issue per se. Now the Hindu Bengalis are being targeted because the BJP has an axe to grind against the Hindu Bengali community in Assam. They want to throw them out, and they want to polarize the community ahead of 2019. So now the whole NRC issue has become the new Ram Mandir of the BJP. And it's just a campaign ploy ahead of 2019.
Okay, so you're saying the NRC issue has become the Ram Mandir, equivalent to Ram Mandir pitch of the BJP in the Northeast. Let me take this question. Let me take this question to the Congress once again. Dr. Vinod Kumar. Now, Dr. Vinod Kumar, political analysts are also seeing this from a different point of view. They are saying that it will help, this move will help the BJP cleanse its anti-Bengali image that had become a perception issue for the party following the NRC. And the BJP hopes to add at least 10 million Hindu Bangladeshi refugees to its vote bank if the bill is implemented. So it's a very, very calculated and a thought-out strategy, though it might have ended up alienating the AGP, might have created some voices of dissent from the Northeast, but in the end, it's the BJP which is standing to gain.
I agree, rightly saying that the NRC is almost equal to the Ram Mandir in the north, and then BJP wanted to make it NRC as a pan-India whatever process, but they failed. Ultimately, they wanted to gain something about the out of this mess they created in the NRC, saying that yes, 10 lakh people are left out of this, and then whatever the anti-BJP sentiment by the Bengali origin people, they wanted to encash, and they wanted to divide this, and then they want to show this whatever the way dividing the people and the almost the societies. But these whatever movements and then whatever their perceptions is going to cause a lot of wounds to many people. So in that context, they whatever expected to get the benefit and then get votes of the Bengalis, they are not going to get, because now you see, irrespective of the origin of their place, all Northeast people are fighting against this whatever the unconstitutional and unwanted such move.
Okay, so you're saying so you agree with this point of view that there is a lot of thought essentially as far as the BJP is concerned vis-a-vis the NRC and vis-a-vis the citizenship bill. If I could bring in the CPI also on this, where does the left stand now? Going forward, for this to become a reality, for this controversial bill which has literally angered passions in the Northeast across all the 7 sisters, how does the left front, how does the opposition want to come together now to douse the flames? Mr. Narayan.
Yes, we wanted to mobilize all. We wanted to mobilize all the BJPs against the BJP to fight against. See, the BJP is thinking that the Northeast countries, the states are very small, but the whole country is burning. Just today, Amit Shah spoke about the BJP meeting that we are going to commit to build Ram Mandir. That just before the Supreme Court is going to take up that issue, before that, he is threatening the judiciary also. That means they are threatening judiciary.
Right.
They are using the parliamentary democracy by using this NRC. This means the whole northeastern states are burning, and again they wanted to extend to throughout India. So they don't think that the secularism in India is a good country. You should save the country. If you want to save the country, all the religious and all these things should not be there. So when they are dividing the forces to get more votes, they may get votes, but India will be spoiled. If India is spoiled, the BJP will be smashed.
Okay. So clearly you're saying, but there is an admission that they may get votes, and that is exactly what they have in mind. Ilyas Sharafuddin, we are completely running out of time on the broadcast. Ilyas Sharafuddin, what is the way forward? Because you talked about, you were thanking Hindu brothers. You were thanking, but as Afrida pointed out, this isn't just an issue about Hindus and Muslims. There's much more to the story. It's about a community, a social fabric, an ethnic character of a region which feels that it is going to undergo a sea change if this bill becomes reality.
After some time, but let me give 2 simple points. The first point is, if Manmohan Singh is the Bhishma of Mahabharata, then Modi and Amit Shah is acting like Shakuni and Dhritarashtra of Mahabharata. and they are going to pay the price for that. Some benefits they may extract due to this NRC, but in the long